Hey guys, this is Laura with Laura B. Flosstube. Welcome or welcome back. This is kind of a impromptu, no script, not cross-stitch related announcement. So I am almost done with the hometown quilt along, which Lori Holt is hosting right now on her blog. Each week she puts two of the house blocks out there, and there's like 12 total, and it's a really cute pattern and I love it so much. I love all of her quilts. So I've been wanting to do some of her older sew-alongs, and I thought, hey, you know what we should do? We should have a sew-along, like a throwback sew-along. So beginning November 5th, which is in like 2 weeks, I think, I am going to start like posting little videos and updates and progress for the Bloom quilt. So if you haven't seen the Bloom quilt, I'll insert a picture here. This was like, I don't know if it was her first, but it's one of her first applique quilts because this is Sew Simple Shapes Set A. You can still get that set of Sew Simple Shapes. So just Google Sew Simple Shapes Set A. I would put the word Bloom with it, and it should come up. I know that I've seen them on Amazon. I believe that Fat Quarter Shop still has some sets available, and I believe Missouri Star Quilt also has some sets available. But like I said, just Google the Sew Simple Shapes Set A Bloom, and you should be able to find some places to purchase them if you don't have them. Or maybe you're like me and you purchased the set of Sew Simple Shapes because you're like, I'm gonna make this quilt. And then you may have not made the quilt yet. So this is my plan. November 5th is a Sunday, and that week was going to be my Be Prepared week, right? So I'm going to gather all my fabrics, start doing some of the cutting and getting organized that week for the Bloom quilt along. Then the next Sunday, which is November 15th, or November 12th. I'm so sorry. I'm reading a screen that's away from me, so if I keep going like this, you know what's going on. November 12th will be block 1 and 2. And then every week after that will be the next 2 blocks all the way through January 21st of 2024. And that's going to be our big finish. So that's when I will hopefully have kept up to date with all of my blocks, and I'll be putting the quilt together. So that is just in time too for me to get that quilt together so I can get all the fabrics and everything together for the next sew along with Lori Holt, which is the Mercantile Sampler. So let's talk fabric. I know that you cannot get the fabrics that the original Bloom quilt was made for, but I've also made a few of her quilts with just fabrics from my stash, and they turned out great. I love them so much, and I think it's an amazing way to use up fabric in your collection and to get something that's a lot more personalized because you're picking fabrics that you love. Not that I don't love everything Lori Holt makes, but that way you get, fabrics that might just kind of lend themselves to your personality just a little closer than just using one collection from her. But this time, what I'm going to do, since you can't get the Bloom fabrics anymore, I'm going to use up the scraps from the last 3 or 4 quilts that I've made with her. So on my table over here, I have a group of scraps. I have honestly no idea. I know that these scraps are from the Be Vintage quilt. So I have lots of scraps here. And I know that these, I believe these are from Prairie, which I just did not too long ago. And then this one would have to be from the one before that, which I don't remember what that quilt was, which is kind of sad. But, yeah, I don't remember. But anyway, so I will use up these 3 stacks of scraps. And if I still need some fabric, I also have one of the curated bundles from Fat Quarter Shop, which was the Lori Holt Fat Quarter Club. I only did that for 1 month, and then I decided, you know what, I don't really need more fabric showing up. I need to use fabric. So I have this 1 bundle and these 3 stacks. Now let me tell you why I know this is going to work. All right, so when you look at the Bloom sewing guide, which, okay, if you have not seen the Bloom sewing guide, I'm just going to preface this by saying this was her very first So Simple Shape Quilt Along quilt. So their sewing guides have definitely improved over the years. This one is from 2016. So we're talking, what is that, 7 years ago? So we're doing a way throwback to 7 years ago. And my printer only prints in black and white, so don't judge me on that. But you will notice that their cutting guide for Bloom is a lot smaller than what we get now. I mean, there are literally 6 pages to this guide, which is not very much. But the quilt calls for fat eighths, and most of the quilts now are fat quarters. So I know that all of the pieces are going to be relatively small, and all of the borders and everything can be cut. They're like 2.5 by 8.5 inch rectangles. Well, I know that all my scraps are probably like that. And if not, I mean, I have tons here, so I can definitely get what I need out of my scraps. And so all of her collections play well together, yay. So I know that I can use all of these scraps up. Well, hopefully I'll use them all up, or at least I'll put a dent in them and get this quilt made. So let's talk about supplies. What you're gonna need for the Bloom quilt. You're definitely gonna need the So Simple Shapes Set A. You're gonna need some fabric, whether you use it from your stash, whether you buy a fat quarter bundle or a fat eighth bundle, or you just decide to wing it and pull something out each week and go with it. However you wanna do it is fine. Or maybe you're one of those people that bought the Bloom quilt kit way back when, but you haven't made the quilt. So this would be a good time to look through the closet and find that. Yeah, and then you can get in on this too, all right? Now, the other thing that you're gonna need, obviously, is a sewing machine and thread and interfacing. Now, if you've watched my applique tips and tricks video, then you know that I don't use the Lori Holt interfacing. I use Pellon 30. You can get that at Walmart. You can buy it different places online. I'm not sure if Joann's carries it. They might. But so Google that too if you don't want to use her interfacing. Otherwise, I would just really suggest you use a lightweight interfacing for your shapes. And then you're going to need a pencil or something to trace your shapes with. You're going to need a rotary cutter, a mat, all the goodies that you would need to make a quilt. All right. So that's kind of the rundown of supplies, and definitely some time and patience, because I'm just going to tell you, like I said, the cutting guide is a little smaller than the ones we get now. And her blog posts are a little less involved than what we get now. But we're going to get through this together, and the quilt is going to be adorable. So I'm super excited about doing this Bloom quilt sew along with you. I hope you do join in. If you comment below on this video and tell me you're joining, I would love to know who all is going to join in. Also, follow me on Instagram, because I do have this announcement on Instagram, and I have a couple little hashtags that I used for my first post, and I thought, well, we can use these along the way too. But really, this is just a way for me to get the quilt done and to have some fun knowing that other people are quilting along with me. So I hope you join me. I hope we're going to have fun. And I plan on doing an update, hopefully once a week, and tell you where I'm at. And that might be just on Instagram, which is some pictures. I might do a little video. We'll see how it goes. When I go to start cutting out my fabrics, I might do a little video just to show you this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be crazy. But, you know, it's really kind of just very informal, very laid back. But at the same time, want to get this done before Mercantile starts in January. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm hoping that some of you are excited and want to stitch along with me. And if not, that's fine. If you want to follow along and point and make fun, that's cool too. Otherwise, I will see you next time. And I really hope you join in on this sew along. It's going to be super fun, and it will get another quilt done off my to-do list. So until next time, happy stitching.